What is up, fellas? We are back again for another full card breakdown. UFC 288 pay-per-view. Aljo Sterling versus Henry Cejudo. Sorry I'm a little bit late, couple minutes. I had some business to attend to. That business got attended to. And now we got some more business to attend to. Making money. That's the business I attend to every single day, making money. And we're going to do it this weekend. You already know we're going to do it this weekend. It's a great pay-per-view, and typically we do great on pay-per-views. So that's a good combination there. We made a hell of a lot of money over the pay-per-views for the last 5 years, and I'm not stopping here. We're going to continue to do it. And I'm going to give you all of my picks and predictions. Not my bets, though. You got to pay for that. For the upcoming fights, but probably drop some jewels, probably drop a couple bets in like I always do with this content that I put out. So shout out to everybody who's in here. If you are in here, give me a shout on the chat. Say what's up. And if you've got any questions, ask me questions, Open, transparent book. As always, I'll answer your questions. And I'm really looking forward to getting into it. I'm really looking forward to making money. The weekends are the best day of the week for me because it's when I make the most money. And you got to make money in this world. It's very important to make money. A lot of people look down on money for some reason. A lot of people are jealous of people that have money, and a lot of people look down on money. So it's not important. There are more important things in life. Of course, we know that. We're not too. But, I've been saying this for years, that everything that is more important than money can help it. So that's something that people just don't really know, right? Everything that is more important than money, people can help that. So what's more important than money? Health. But money can help health. Because if you have a life-threatening disease or even just a bad knee, you need to get it seen ASAP. You need to get it seen straight away and by the best doctors. Money enables you to do that. So, without going into a rant about money, because it's misconstrued in today's society, it's very important. And this weekend, I'm trying to do that. And shout out to everybody who's been watching my content for the last years, because you've probably made a lot of money if you have been. We don't get every single pick right, of course, but we get enough and bet on enough great odds to earn money. So shout out to everybody who's joined my service and the elite membership, because if you have, you've been making an elite amount of money. So I got the new tier on my website that has full card breakdowns of every single fight, even if we don't have a bet on it. Tons of stuff. If you haven't joined, I don't know what the hell you're doing, because you're losing out on a lot of money. That's a fact. Everybody in the service can attest to that. And I get messages every single weekend from people saying the exact same thing. Thanks for making me so much money this week. So, some weeks we lose, but, over the long term, we're going to smash it. So hopefully we smash it this weekend. And without further ado, I'm going to get into it. Daniel Santos versus Munoz Jr. is the first fight of the night. And it's a good fight. Oftentimes UFC start off these pay-per-views, not only the first fight of the night, where they kick off the pay-per-view, but also the first fight on the main card. They kick it off with a bang. Oftentimes they put on fighters that they either want to promote or fights that they know are going to bang. Fights that they know are going to bring eyeballs to that pay-per-view later on in the night. And I think this is going to do it. Daniel Santos versus Munoz Jr. So this is kind of like a typical grappler versus striker matchup. For the most part, obviously these guys are decent, well-rounded MMA fighters, especially Daniel Santos. I'd say he's a little bit more well-rounded than Munoz. But in general, it's kind of like a striker versus grappler matchup. We got Daniel Santos, who is the striker, and we got Munoz Jr., who is the grappler. And what an absolute war Daniel Santos was in his last fight. He was fighting John Castaneda, and actually, I had a bet on him in that fight as an underdog, and I thought we was done. The dude got rocked all over the place, was getting beat up. He got knocked out basically 3 times. I'm being a bit generous. Like he got hurt. He got hurt 3 or 4 times, and he got hurt badly, like once. But the other 2 times he got hurt, if not badly, at least decently. But he came back to get a second round win. He weathered the storm and put that absolute pace and pressure on John Castaneda, who just couldn't keep up. John Castaneda does kind of like a low-paced fight, but in general, he looks like he has good cardio. And he did not look like he had good cardio against Daniel Santos, because there's a difference between having good cardio and having that elite cardio that holds up against such a pace and pressure that some of these fighters bring. Just like Daniel Santos brought in that fight. And he brings that in every single fight, actually. If you go back and watch his tape, he brings that in every single fight. He doesn't stop moving forward. And I think that could be a problem for Johnny Munoz Jr. in this spot, because Johnny is not the type of fighter that does well under pace and pressure, in my opinion. I don't think he likes the pace and pressure. It's not like I've seen a hell of a lot of tape of him, wilting to pace and pressure, just because he's only had 14 fights. It's actually more than Daniel Santos in this spot. But a lot of those fights, he's just dominating on the regional scene. He came into the UFC 10-0, and now he's gone 2-2 in the UFC. But a lot of times he's just finishing fighters who really are not on his level. So it's kind of hard to see him for what he truly is. Whereas I think Daniel Santos has fought a higher level of competition, or at least competed against a higher level of competition. And when I say competed, I mean actually put up a fight. He fought a decent fight against Julio Arce, even though he lost. So Johnny Munoz Jr. is going to try and get the fight to the ground. He does that every single fight. And if he does get the fight to the ground, yeah, I will say that there is a chance that he gets the finish, because I do think Johnny is actually high level with the jiu-jitsu. I do think he's got a very, very good jiu-jitsu game. I just don't think he's got great wrestling. Although I do expect him to get 1 or 2 takedowns in this fight, because I don't think Daniel Santos has great takedown defense. It's all right. I don't think it's great. But Daniel Santos has a good get-up game. That's what he does have. This matchup's a bit tricky, because I do think that Johnny Munoz Jr. is probably the best jiu-jitsu practitioner that Daniel Santos has faced to date. So that means that if Johnny Munoz Jr. does get on top, we've never seen a guy like that on top of Santos. So maybe he could finish him, or maintain top control, win the round that way. It is possible. But more often than not, I see Daniel Santos scrambling back up to his feet, getting a Kimura lock, just being wily, throwing up an armbar and then jumping straight back up to the feet, pushing his butt to the cage and using the cage to walk, something like that. I do see that happening more often than not. And then when it is on the feet, I do think it's all Daniel Santos for the most part. I think Daniel Santos is probably going to melt Johnny Munoz Jr. on the feet here. And I'm actually going to predict Daniel Santos to get a second or third round KO. Just like he did in his last fight. Next fight. Who we got? Who we got in the chat? Say what's up. Samuel saying, what up? Yeah, scam the books. We scam the books every weekend. Let's get this money. What's up? Yek Nom. My man Yek Nom saying, let's get it. Daz Files, money's like and more fun is just beating up the bookies. That's it. Tom S. Trains, money is the gateway to improving all aspects of life. Fact. Shayway, thanks, mate. King Eddie. Elite Squad checking in. Shout out to the Elite Squad. Anybody in the Elite Squad, let it be known. Shout out to you. And if you're not in the Elite Squad, go to my link in the bio right now, I think. But if not, it's lucrativemmaBetting.com. Sign up for the Elite membership. You get a lot of content from me every single week, and all of my official bets and predictions. The money that it costs is absolute peanuts compared to what you're going to earn, unless you're betting $5 a unit. Then it's not worth joining. Daz Files is saying, what was the elite parlay that cashed? Yeah, so last week we got a plus 1,600, plus 1,700 almost. It was like plus 1,698 or something. So plus 1,600 parlay that cashed last week in the elite zone. The week before that, we got plus 900 submission prop. And the week before that, we got plus 950. And it's only been around 3 weeks. So we're going every single week. We've cashed plus 900 minimum. And last week, as I say, was a plus 1,600. It was a parlay. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was Martin Bedoya decision and a couple of other props. It was in a parlay and we smashed it. I turned $100 into $1,700. It's all on my Telegram group. And if you haven't joined my Telegram group, join my Telegram group. It's a free group, completely free. And I drop jewels in there. Last week, I dropped a free bet on Fernando Padilla at plus 125 before the Julian Erosa fight. It was an underdog bet, and he won via first round knockout. And I gave that out for free in my Telegram group. And this week, I gave another tip. Wasn't an official betting tip, but I gave a tip about a fight on this card. So that's in there right now. You can go and listen to it. I just gave some insight. So yeah, join my free Telegram group. I'm not exactly sure of the link, but if you just go to my Twitter and just scroll back a couple of posts, you'll see me speak about the Telegram group, and I put the link in there. So there might even be a link below this video to Telegram, so I'm not sure. So yeah, next fight, we got Joseph Holmes versus Claudio Ribeiro. Yeah, this is not, this is not the best fight on the card. Actually, guys, this is one of the fights that I haven't done too much tape on. I did going back and watch Claudio Ribeiro's last fight, even though I already knew that fight. I just wanted to watch it again because I wanted to watch our bet cash in again. We got Al Hassan as a pick'em against Claudio Ribeiro, which is kind of silly. I mean, in the first round, he was beating his leg up badly, though. I was like, Jesus Christ, maybe I made the wrong bet here. But, it didn't last long. Al Hassan had the grappling upside, which I knew, and it showed because he just basically grappled him for the first round. When I say grappled, he didn't take him down, but he was able to push him up against the cage and stuff. And then in the second round, he landed the killer blow. Claudio Ribeiro looked like he tired. Just a silly, silly line. I don't know it was a pick'em. Don't know why it was a pick'em. And yeah, we cashed that big time. And so I went back and watched that. Joseph Holmes, on the other hand, he's a little bit of an unknown commodity in MMA still. His Jun Young Park fight, yeah, I mean, doesn't tell us much about him. Jun Young Park's a very good fighter. And so I'm not too surprised that he got dominated by him there. It was like a plus 180 underdog. And he's like a plus 180 underdog here. One thing that I'm thinking is that why is Joseph Holmes the same... How can I say that? Why is Joseph Holmes the same price as he was against Jun Young Park? Can anybody tell me that? Because I'm quite confused. Because Jun Young Park is much better than Claudio Ribeiro, in my opinion. And guys, I've been grinding all day, literally. Like working a lot. Watching tape as well. Making money. Doing stuff for the Elite Zone. So I'm starving, so I'm eating my mandarin here. But I just don't understand why he's such a big underdog, I'm not necessarily going to play him because do I really want to put my money on someone like Joseph Holmes? But honestly, I might have to just because I don't know much about Claudio Ribeiro. This guy fell apart as soon as he got out of round one last time. And it could happen again. I ain't going to go too much more into depth without doing a lot of tape. But I know both guys. I taped Claudio Ribeiro a couple of months ago. And I taped Joseph Holmes a couple of months ago. Both of their fights weren't too long ago. So yeah, I mean, I'll do a little bit more tape before I decide. But that's where my head's at the moment. I'm more looking to the Joseph Holmes side. And now, the next fight. What's the next fight? The next fight is Zhalgas Zhumagulov versus Rafael Estevem. Now, this is a good fight. Zhalgas Zhumagulov retired, and now the dude's coming back. The reason he retired, if you remember, is because he lost the split against Charles Johnson in a fight he should have won. Right after losing a split against Jeff Molina in a fight he should have won. Do not remind me of that. I already bet him. I bet him in that fight. As like a plus 140 underdog. And via decision at like plus 250. And we got effed on that one. I was actually away. I didn't watch the fight live. But I have watched it since then. And it was a close fight. But still annoying when you're on an underdog in a close fight. Or underdog in close fights, I'm getting trauma. I'm getting bad trauma of the Bellator bets we had a few weeks ago. Like plus 400s. And a couple of them were like minus 300 in the live lines. And we lost them. Anyway, that's the way she goes. So, yeah, I think Zhalgas is kind of in above his head here. I mean, he retired and now he's coming back from retirement. He's on a 3-fight losing streak. He's won 1 fight in the entire UFC. And that was against some dude who shouldn't have been in the UFC. What was his name? I don't know. But that dude went like 0-3 in the UFC, whatever his name was. I forgot now. First round finish that was. Estevem's a beast. 11-0, undefeated Brazilian. He's going to come in and push the pace, like he always does. Probably going to get some takedowns, like he always does. It's funny because both of these fighters like to shoot takedowns, so I don't really, I don't know how that's going to play out in real time. I haven't really seen Estevem taken down and stuff before, so I'd be interested to see him taken down here, because probably will be once or twice. But I just feel like Estevem's just a much more tenacious guy, It's like they're quite similar, and Estevem's just way more tenacious. I mean, the guy just doesn't stop. I think he's going to drain Zhalgas Zumagulov. I don't know if he's going to finish him, because Zumagulov not easy to finish, in my opinion. But I just do feel like Zhalgas is probably going to lose and then retire after this fight again. Yeah, so that's it. Estevem's going to do what he always does. Spam takedowns, push the amazing pressure and pace. And win the fight. What else we got, boys? Carol Smith. Will I throw out a parlay for the boys? Let me tell you what. If everybody goes and like the video now, I'll throw out a parlay. I can see the exact amount of likes as well on the video right now. Let me see what we're at. How many are we at? So at the moment, we're on 15 likes. 15 likes. Come on, we can do better than that. There's over 40 live viewers and we've only got 50. There we go. Straight to 23. Okay. 24. All right, we're going up now, boys. Look, if we can get to 50 likes by the end of the video, which shouldn't be hard, then I will throw out a parlay. Leon saying this card is really hard for betting, in my opinion. Okay. Leon's also saying Zhalgas should have won versus Paiva, Johnson, and maybe Molina. Unfair decisions is this man's whole UFC career. Yeah, man. It's so tough for him, right? It's tough. Tough, man, but that's the game. It's like betting. Sometimes you should win, but you don't. You just got to keep on grinding. I guess. Depends, though, innit? Because, like, if you're old and that, then, That's just saying that's hard. It's going to be hard to hit 50 likes because some peeps are other cappers. They won't click like. And peeps on TVs won't. True. Well, so these other cappers are not going to like my stuff. Come on, other cappers. Don't hate the player, man. Hate the game. Come on, other cappers. Come on. If you're a capper and you're watching me now, don't hate on me. If you see me driving a Lambo, a Rolls Royce, don't hate on me. You guys ever seen that video? Seen that video when the fella's like, if you see me driving a Lambo, don't hate on me. That guy that was in Too Fast, Too Furious, I think. But yeah, come on. Hate is a horrible emotion. Jealousy is a horrible emotion. We're just going to keep winning. So you're just going to keep hating. So, but I think we can get there. Like, the likes are already jumping up. I'm pretty sure we can get to 50. We'll see how it goes. So the next fight is Ikram Aliskarov versus Phil Hawes. Yeah. Yeah, Tyrese, man. Yeah, he was the one who said that. Don't hate on me. Yeah, that was a good one, you know. You know that one. Is that his surname, Gibson? Yeah. That was a good video. That's crazy. I didn't know it was that viral for you to see that. What else we got? Yeah, so Ikram. Why am I on Jessica Andrade? No, we don't want that. We don't want that. That was from my tape study before, boys. So Ikram Aliskarov versus Phil Hawes. This is an interesting fight, man. I'm not going to lie. This is an interesting fight. The reason is because this Ikram dude is that his only loss is to Khamzat Chimaev, right? And other than Gilbert Burns, this was actually Khamzat Chimaev's hardest fight. And it kind of sounds funny because if you go on Tapology, you'll see that Chimaev knocked him out inside 2.5 minutes. But it was still his hardest fight. And the reason, because this guy has a claim to fame, right? Ikram Aliskarov. He's the only guy that Khamzat Chimaev could not take down. So Chimaev got deep on the legs, deep on a body lock, tried to take him down, and Ikram defended it very, very well. So Khamzat was forced to stand, and he got an uppercut KO. You probably remember that brutal uppercut KO in a lot of like Khamzat's highlights and stuff, right, on the regional scene. So it's going to be interesting in this fight because obviously Aliskarov guy is a bit of a beast. He's got very, very good top pressure, punishing top pressure. If he gets you to the ground, it could be dangerous. Now, the thing about it is I'm not 100% sure he's going to be able to get Phil Hawes to the ground. Now, he probably will be able to do it if he really tries for 3 rounds, but just early, I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. And sometimes how these fights play out, and this is a duel. Listen to this one. Let me make my face big because this is a duel, yeah? It's if you got a wrestler, right? If they try and take a fighter down multiple times and they can't do it early, sometimes they just don't do it for the rest of the fight because they're just spooked off. They're like, damn, this guy's too strong. And even when it gets later on in the fight where they could potentially get takedowns now, they're still spooked off from early because they used a lot of energy to get them down and they still couldn't do it. And also they have to crash distance. It may be dangerous to close distance to shoot for a takedown, which they couldn't get earlier in the fight. So what I'm saying is in this fight, who knows? If Aliskarov tries to take Hawes down early and can't do it, he might just stand with him for the whole fight. He might do it. We don't know. Because I did see one Ikram fight, right, which was against Chad. Can't remember the dude's name, but his first name was Chad. Yeah, Hanakom or something like that. You can go and watch it yourself. He couldn't get Chad down to the ground. Actually, Chad got him down to the ground, picked him up like that and threw him down. It was quite dominant. I think he took Chad down once or twice, but basically he couldn't take Chad down, right? And it was a split decision. It was close. It was a close fight on the feet. So he's going up against Phil Hawes. Phil Hawes has great takedown defense. He's actually got 100% takedown defense rating in the UFC, and he's had about 6 fights in the UFC, and nobody could take him down. And a few people have tried. And on the other hand, he's landed loads of takedowns. So I'm not sure Ikram's going to get him to the ground early. And if he doesn't get him to the ground early, well, then they're going to stand and bang. And Hawes is the better striker, in my opinion. Now, this is so frustrating because I want to bet Hawes, but how can you bet a guy with that bad of a chin? Phil Hawes' chin is not it. Phil Hawes has a bad chin. Leon's saying, does Ikram have power? He doesn't look like he has that much power on the feet. Like, he doesn't look like he's a great striker either. But I don't think you have to be to knock out Phil Hawes. I think his chin is that bad that anybody can catch him. I do think Ikram can get a knockout on the feet here, for sure. And I'd be saying that again about most middleweights against Phil Hawes, you know? Look, I don't mind a shot on Phil Hawes because he's a big underdog and Ikram's making his UFC debut against the best fighter he's ever fought, other than Khamzat Chimaev. And his style is to wrestle people, and I don't know if he's going to be able to wrestle Phil Hawes. So, yeah, it's tough. And Chicken Wings is saying, depends on the caliber of fighter, trying to get Carl Dorcas isn't elite. Yeah, but we got Carl Dorcas. We have not only Carl Dorcas, we have Nasruddin Imavov, shot a takedown. Devin Clark. No, not Devin Clark. Deron Wynn. I always get them mixed up. Deron Wynn, who's a good wrestler. Very good wrestler. And he can get him, he can take him down. And then also Carl Dorcas, right? So I might have mentioned him first, but you know, it's not just Carl Dorcas, right? We'll go back, we'll go on his record. And then obviously Jacob Malkoun didn't have the chance because he got knocked out straight away. So it's an interesting one for me here because, as I said, I do think that Ikram, like, as I said, Ikram probably can get him down if he really tries, but I just don't think he's going to be able to get him down early. So I do think they're going to be forced to stand. And if they're forced to stand, Hawes cracks, man. Don't forget, Hawes got a lot of first-round knockouts on his record. Hawes knocked out Jacob Malkoun. Hawes hurt a lot of people, man. And it's not out of the realm of possibility that he knocks out Ikram Aliskarov here. We don't know much about the dude, really. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not really going to say too much more about it. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with the fight. I don't think you can be playing Ikram at like minus 220. It's just tough to know exactly what he's bringing to the table. But yeah, those are my thoughts. The next fight is Parker Porter versus Braxton Smith. I'm not going to speak too much about this fight. I actually spoke about it on Twitter, or I did a post. Where are we going? Yeah. So Braxton Smith, I don't understand how he's in the UFC. He's 5-1, and they didn't even sign him off Contender Series. He's not 5-1 off the Contender Series like a lot of people are. He's 5-1 with, being signed off the regional scene. He fought in 2014. This off the top of my head. Don't call me a liar for a year. But he fought in 2014. He's made his UFC debut in 2014 against none other than Chase Sherman. Got knocked out in round 1. Got knocked out within 2 minutes. And then didn't fight MMA again for 8 years. Decided he wanted to be an MMA fighter again. Came back without an affiliation to a gym and fought 5 times in 12 months. Knocked everybody out in the first round. The first person who he made his return against, the second fight he had actually, after his return, was against a guy called Jacare Savage. He knocked him out in 49 seconds. 6 months later, he rematched him and knocked him out in 44 seconds. And that was the fight that got him into the UFC. Some weird stuff going on with Braxton Smith here. I don't know why this guy's in the UFC. But I will say that he's got a lot of power. And Parker Porter got sent to another dimension last time out. So maybe Braxton sends him back there again. Who knows? This is heavyweight. This is low level. And Braxton has a hell of a lot of power. So for that reason, I'm not rushing to get in the way of Braxton. But, man, I don't know. I'm going to do something with this fight, right? Because Braxton is a massive fade. Maybe I play the under. And I said a few things about this in my Telegram group, my free Telegram group, which you can join with the links in the bio. The Telegram's there somewhere. Free betting tips in that group. But for me, I'm just watching the lines. I'm just relaxing. I'm kicking back. I'm deciding what I want to do with it. I'm taking Parker Porter for the win, of course. I say Parker Porter gets a late first round knockout. I think he gets on top of him and squashes him. So Parker Porter via squish is going to be my official prediction. Next fight. And Lewis saying there is no shame in getting KO'd by Chase Sherman and then quitting for 8 years. Yes, exactly. There's no shame in that. You can walk with your head held high after that as a pro fighter. All right, we got Marino Rodriguez versus Werner Jandiroba, the fight with massive, massive line movement. And we already know why. Because people are betting Werner Jandiroba. People like me. If Werner Jandiroba gets her down, it's probably around. I probably wouldn't play Werner Jandiroba at Pick'em, to be completely honest. But I would play her at plus 150, plus 175, like I already did. The thing about Marino Rodriguez is she has been taken down for 6 or 7 fights in a row. Did you hear what I just said? I'm going to say it again. And I'm going to make myself big. I need to get like a zoom in one so I can make it even bigger. Because you know what? Wait, I think I might. No, I can't do that. It'll make it look more dramatic, if it zoomed in right on my face. Marino Rodriguez has been taken down for about 6 or 7 fights in a row against everybody she's fought. Is she going to stuff takedowns from Werner suddenly? I don't think so. I think she's going to get taken down in this fight. This fight could be a close 29-28 fight. I'm not going to lie. Obviously, Werner Jandiroba on the feet, it's not it, right? But Marina Rodriguez on the ground is not it either. I will say that she's extremely tough and she has great submission defense. We saw that in the Mackenzie Dern fight. But at the end of the day ends. And also, Marina's just bad off her back. Facts are facts. Bad price. Looking at the lines. So I feel like Werner's going to win the fight, but I will concede that at the line, there's probably no value. It's probably a close fight either way. I just feel like Werner has much more upside on the ground than Marina does on the feet. What that means is that the fight can be going close on the feet, but Werner can always get a takedown. Whereas if Werner gets a takedown, I don't think Marina can always get a get up. Understand that? That's the big difference of this fight. If the fight is on the feet, Werner can always get a takedown. But if the fight's on the ground, Marina can't always get a get up, right? Get a take up. So yeah, that's why I bet on Werner Jandiroba, and obviously because she was an underdog. Next, Chaos Williams versus Rolando Bedoya. This Rolando looks like a fun dude, honestly. Like, you watch his tape and he's doing spinning wheel kicks. He's doing flying knees. I've seen him take the back. I've seen him take guys down. I've seen him do a single leg. I've seen him do a double leg. I've seen him get mount. I've seen him do everything. I've seen him throw head kicks. So the guy is a bit of a wild man. You know, he will come forward and throw a huge array of strikes. And I think he can win fights in the UFC. Now, the thing about that is, I don't really know why, but it seems as if the UFC have given this dude one of the toughest fights they could give him. Because Chaos Williams hits like an ox. He is the ox fighter. He hits like an ox. Yeah? And I've seen Rolando Bedoya hit the deck before. Okay, he didn't actually hit the deck, but he done a 380. What's a 380, man? He done a 360, yeah? I guess 380 is just 20 more degrees. So yeah, he did do a 380. He got hurt in that fight and he span around. And so what that showed me, and by the way, like, he can prove me wrong here. Maybe he takes Chaos's shots. But what that showed me was maybe he doesn't have the most amazing chin in the world. And he don't even need to have an amazing chin. You need to have an absolute brick elite chin not to get KO'd by Chaos Williams, because he hits that hard. The thing about Bedoya is, like, he is just very, very open to being countered. And what does Chaos do well? Counter. It's so annoying because I think this Rolando guy is extremely exciting. And I think he can get some wins in the UFC against a bit of a lower level of competition than Chaos Williams. But I just feel like stylistically, this is a horrible matchup because at some point in time, Chaos is going to land a counter on that chin. And I don't see Rolando taking it. I think it's going to come early and I think it's going to be brutal. And I think it could be one of them ones where Rolando kind of is teeing off on him. He's maybe even hurting him a little bit. But Chaos has an elite chin and bricks for hands. I was saying that earlier in my full card breakdown that I'm about to post to the Elite Zone on my website about another fighter we'll speak about later in the card. It's that if you have bricks for hands and a brick for a chin, you can go a long way in the UFC. And I really do see Chaos Williams countering Rolando and knocking him out here. So that's going to be my prediction. The next fight we have is Devin Clark versus Kennedy and ZETOKU. And I'm not going to speak about this fight because I haven't done enough tape about this fight. But from the tape I have done about this fight, I'm going to say Kennedy gets a finish. Next. Yeah, I think Kennedy probably wears him out. Devin Clark's a decent fighter. Sometimes he comes up trumps when he shouldn't do as a decent-sized underdog. And I do actually think he's going to look value in the first round here. I think he's going to get takedowns. I think he's going to look good. I think he may even land on the feet. But I will say that I don't see him doing it for 3 rounds. So I think Kennedy's going to come. But I haven't done enough tape on this fight. So let's just say that that is a preliminary fault because we're still on the preliminary card, right? Yeah. So the next fight we have is Dober versus Matt Frevola. This is a banger of a fight. Banger of a fight. I can't wait for this one. I don't know how long it's going to last, but for however long it's going to be, last, it's going to be a good fight. Dober comes to fight. Matt Frevola comes to fight. And someone's going to go sleep, in my opinion. And when have you seen Dober go to sleep? Do you know what I mean? Like, you haven't. And when have you seen Matt Frevola go to sleep? Do you know what I mean? Like, you have. Yeah, so I feel like it's going to be a bit of a war. Matt Frevola, if he's smart, is going to come in wrestling here. But how many times have we said that and he doesn't, right? Obviously, he hits very hard, so we never know what could happen. Brad Riddell did rock Dober a few times, so it's not 100% that, you know, he can't be knocked out, and Frevola does catch him. MMA is crazy. You know, everyone gets their first knockout loss eventually if they stay in the game long enough. And Dober's been in the game for a minute now. You know, he's coming up to 35 years old this year, I think. Yeah, 35 years old this year. End of the year. But the way I see this fight playing out is Frevola is going to shoot a couple of takedowns. And Dober's going to get back to his feet, though. Drew can definitely be taken down, but Drew has good get-ups. And I don't think Frevola has the top game to keep him down consistently. So for that reason, I think Drew's going to get back up to his feet. And when he does get back up to his feet, I think he lands a killer blow. I really do. I think Dober gets a knockout here. But, you know, Lou is saying that if Frevola decides to actually grapple, his decision prop is wild. And yeah, I agree. I saw someone post it at like plus 650 or something, which is kind of insane, in my opinion. I do agree with that. But yeah, official prediction is going to be Drew via knockout here. So yeah, I addressed some of these comments. I got shout out to everyone here, man. I really appreciate everybody. You know that. Brandon is saying James is looking like the English Tony Stark. All right, I'm gonna Google Tony Stark. Who's Tony Stark? I'm gonna Google Tony Stark. You know me, boys. I don't really know too much about culture. You know, I just try and make as much money as possible, man. Tony Stark. Let me Google him. Bro, who's this dude, man? This guy's old. I don't look like this guy, bro. Well, guys, you reckon this is a diss or not? I know my man Brandon Van didn't mean it as a diss. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this guy looks like an average bloke. I wouldn't say that he looks like me, but he's a bit old though. Do you know what I mean? Looks kind of like a dad. Ain't like, you know what I mean? He's like a regular dad. Maybe in a few years, bro, but I wouldn't say no. What's everyone saying? James, it's a compliment. Yeah, it's a massive W. Oh, Iron Man. Jesus, look at that. He flies. All right, shout out Tony Stark. You know what? To be honest, I can see the resemblance. Yeah, he looks like me. You get my English humor there. I'm being a bit sarcastic. Nah, but shout out to Tony Stark, man. What else we got saying here? We got like a million good comments, and then someone wants to start shit, so let's have a bit of fun. VB MMA Pick says you are an inferior product. MMA G's, I'm pretty sure I've seen you before, man. I don't know if this is actually him. A lot of people fake profiles these days. Shout out to VB MMA Picks. He asked me to come on his podcast, and I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. So everybody can go and subscribe to his YouTube channel so we can get it. I don't think he said that. If he did say that, I don't think he would be asking me to come on his podcast. So you're probably just trying to start shit. But if he did say that, you can direct me to where so I can verify it myself. But speaking about the product, we are the best product on the entire market. I've been around the gambling industry since a kid, and I can say without doubt we have the best gambling product on the entire market. The best product on the market, not only in MMA, but in gambling in general. The amount of content, the breakdown philosophy videos, the sports betting training courses, which are 10 years of my life in sports betting into those courses. The personal access to me, the hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of hours I spend every single week replying to messages, trying to fix the site, is second to none. The amount of profit we make with the ROI we have, the amount of money we make on playable lines. Most people tip openers and stuff. Playable lines. Second to none in the industry. If you haven't joined, I don't know what the hell you're doing. We are destroying the game for 5 years. Best on the market. How many likes we got going? So I said 50 likes and we got 44 likes. I told you we can do it, Daz. 44 likes. If we get to 50 likes, I'm going to drop parlays. Yeah, all right. Next fight. See, everyone sees my full card breakdowns and they're like, damn, that's a long breakdown. But it's just because I'm bullshitting with everybody. All right, what else we got going on here? Gracie versus Charles Jourdain. Bro, this is a weird fight, man. Gracie, is coming into this fight after over 3.5 years. Over 3.5 years from his last fight, since his last fight. And he's 34 years old. The dude left MMA during his athletic prime, 30 years old, 31. What is he doing? I don't know. I did a little bit of Googling and I didn't go too in depth because honestly, this type of stuff doesn't really play into my capping as much. So I don't spend that long on it. I spend time on the things that make the real money. But I actually did do a bit of research into why Gracie left the octagon for this amount of time. And I couldn't find anything, right? I'll have to look a little bit more in depth in it. I'll listen to some podcasts and stuff like that. When I say podcasts, I mean interviews, if he had any interviews. So yeah, it'll be good to have a look or to have insight on why he was away. But at the end of the day, it's not a good look because someone like Charles Jourdain, who is his opponent, has been fighting at a high level. He'd fought my man Nathaniel Wood, and that's a very good fight. You know, like he's been fighting at a high level. You know, Julian Arosa. Who else has he fought? He's fought a lot of dudes, man. Like high level dudes. You know what I mean? Like good fighters. Can't remember all off the top of my head now, but Charles Jourdain's been in there against, top level of competition, and Crone hasn't. The thing about this fight, which is interesting, is that Charles Jourdain doesn't have great grappling, man. He really doesn't. And Gracie has great grappling, man. He really does, as you know, right? Leon's saying he doesn't know shit about Crone, but he's assuming he's got good BJJ do. This guy is super high level of BJJ. Probably one of the best BJJ guys in MMA right now, even today. Gracie submitted Gary Tonin. It was a long time ago. I think like 2013. But yeah, he submitted Gary Tonin. You know, he's a very, very high level jiu-jitsu player. I mean, of course he is. Look at who his dad is. Look at what family he's in. If he gets the fight to the ground now, he definitely can sub Charles Jourdain. What about his takedowns? His takedowns aren't very good, bro. I mean, they're very rudimentary. Usually what he likes to do is use his striking and toughness to, put a lot of pace and pressure on his opponents. And then when his opponents back up against the cage, then he goes into the clinch, like a lot of jiu-jitsu guys, and then they just try and drag their opponent to the ground. That's kind of what his takedown setups are. They're not very high level or educated. But Charles Jourdain doesn't have great takedown defense anyway. And then he also doesn't really have good jiu-jitsu, in my opinion. I mean, it's at least not defensive jiu-jitsu. So I don't think you need to be a great wrestler to get him down, at all, to be honest. So I wouldn't be surprised if Crone takes him down and subs him here. I really wouldn't. I'm not going to play any money line. If I am going to play it, I'll play Crone sub or like a Jourdain finish late or something. Or maybe like a Jourdain decision just because of how tough Crone was. But probably not even getting a good price on those things, like all of the things I mentioned. I might just relax, boys. I mean, you don't have to bet on every single fight. So yeah. I'll take Kron Gracie via sub just because I want to be contrarian. It's good to be contrarian in life, you know. Gets clicks, views, and at the end of the day, that gets you paid. So it's good to be contrarian, and it looks good if I'm contrarian and it wins, right? So yeah, we'll do it for that reason. Leon is saying, I don't get why these BJJ dudes don't just wrestle all the time to actually get the fight where they need to be. You don't need to have amazing takedowns. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a lot of the BJJ guys don't wrestle as much as maybe they should, but also, you know, it's not just easy as, you know, just wrestle all the time. Like a lot of people were saying about Curtis Blades the other week, and I just kick back because I don't really like sometimes when they say something completely stupid, or it depends what mood I'm in. I don't really give a shit, but most of the time I'll just kick back. If someone's salty about a losing bet, I just don't really like poke the bear. But a lot of people are moaning like, Curtis Blades don't shoot no takedown, stupidest fighter in the UFC, Curtis Blades so terrible. But it's not easy to shoot a takedown when someone like Sergey Pavlovich is just smashing uppercuts at your face every time you go in. I do think he should have wrestled a bit more, though. But I think it's a combination of him not being able to do it, and also he should have done it probably a little bit earlier. And I say that to say this. A lot of these BJJ guys, they have terrible striking, so they can't set up any takedowns. Even if you're an amazing wrestler, you still need to set it up in some way. So, yeah. Speaking about amazing wrestlers, we got Movsar Evloev here taking on Bryce Mitchell. Bryce Mitchell is a good fighter. It's funny because he was like lined as an underdog against Barbosa and came through for us big time there. Smashed him badly. That fight wasn't competitive. Dropped him on the feet. And then after that, everyone's kind of jumped off the ship and no one likes him now because he got beat against Topuria and he speaks about flat earth. But he's still a good fighter, man. Just in this fight, I just feel like I don't really know his path to victory, you know? Leon saying Bryce getting disrespected, in my opinion, only heard Evloev better everywhere. But if he is better everywhere, then what would be Bryce's path to victory? I just struggle to see a path to victory for Bryce. Not saying he can't do it. He's a high-level guy. I mean, he's lost one fight. Do you know what I mean? Actually, he lost two, but we won't go into that. If you know, you know. It's not hard to know. It's not a secret or anything. Sounded like a secret. It's not hard. But I can't be bothered to talk about it. Maybe we can keep this podcast under 1 hour. We'll try. So, in order to do that, I'm going to say that Movsar Evloev is just better everywhere. Evloev takes everybody down. He grinds everybody out. In this fight, he's not going to be at a striking disadvantage. I mean, maybe he will, but I think it's going to be fairly close on the feet, right? It's not going to be a massive margin in it. Evloev has a good jab. And Evloev's probably going to be able to get takedowns here. And the big difference about, well, not difference, but the big aspect of this fight, in my opinion, is that Movsar Evloev is the much better wrestler. Much better. Like, it's not close. So what that means is that Evloev is going to be able to dictate where the fight takes place. And so if Evloev is just winning on the feet easily, then he's going to be like, well, he could be like, potentially, probably, if he's smart, he will, like he did against Grundy. He will be like, oh, well, I don't need to take him down. I'm winning on the feet. And so he can dictate that, right? And if Bryce tries to take him down, yeah, he may be able to get a takedown. I mean, this is a fight, people can take each other down, but Evloev is a much higher level wrestler. So I do think that he'll be able to stuff the takedowns. And so he's going to be able to determine where the fight plays out, right? If he's having trouble on the feet, he could just shoot a takedown and get Bryce down and then do what he always does. So because he's going to be the one dictating where the fight takes place, he's going to have so many more options to win. In my opinion, Bryce has to reverse Evloev with a, like a sloppy takedown or something. Or we saw Evloev get caught in a very, very tight, I think it was a guillotine against Mike Grundy in that first round. So, I mean, you can't just keep getting caught in guillotines like that and getting out of it. So at the end of the day, if someone like Bryce got that on you, but that is Grundy's special move though. And he did show amazing resolve to get out of that. But what I'm saying is, when you're in those positions, it doesn't take much for the fight to play out a little bit differently, right? So on that occasion, he didn't get tapped out, but on another day, maybe he does get tapped out. I don't know if he gets out of that every single time. But yeah, I do think Evloev's probably just going to be able to take the fight down and do what he wants in this fight. I don't really see a finish. If the finish comes, it will be in round 3, I believe. But yeah, it could be close on the feet. So for that reason, you don't really want to be playing minus 300, just because it's close on the feet. And yeah, Evloev can dictate where the fight goes. But I mean, we're talking about a minus 300 here. It's like you kind of want someone with terrible takedown defense who's just terrible on the floor. And Bryce is not that, so I'm probably not going to be playing it. I don't know. I probably won't play Evloev, but at the same time, I just think he's got all the advantages in this fight. I'd rather just play one of his props, though, I think if you take Evloev via decision, right? Why are people... I saw people posting that earlier at minus 110, and now I'm looking, it's minus 150. I don't understand what these guys are on. I mean, I guess they're not... I can't remember who did that. I honestly can't. Like, it just comes up on the tweet, but maybe they're not handicappers. But man, all of these handicappers tip openers, man. It's horrible. I don't care if you tip an open. I don't care if you bet an opener and you track it, whatever. Even though that's a tipping site, it's not a tracking site. But like, if you sell picks and you track that lines, that's scum of the scum. That's scum of the earth type of stuff, man. Padding your record. If I tip the lines I get, let alone openers, if I track the lines I got personally, let alone openers, my record would be so much higher. ROI so much higher. And still look at the record. I don't need to do it. But like Evloev minus 110 via decision, it's minus 145, man. But if you play Evloev via decision and then you play Evloev in round 3, I think you can cover yourself there. But it probably doesn't even give you that much of a better price now looking at the money lines. But yeah, we'll see what I want to do with it. I probably will stay away just because it's a big line. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't fully decided. The next fight is Jessica Andrade versus Jourdain Yan. So I want to do a little bit more tape to this fight, but I'm going to keep it short and sweet. We faded Jessica Andrade last time out against Erin Blanchfield, and it went well. Erin Blanchfield dominated her. She won on the feet clearly, and then she dominated her with the grappling. She tapped her out in about 15 to 25 seconds as soon as she got the fight to the ground. I am thinking about fading her again with another underdog here, although it's kind of unfortunate because you kind of want to fade Erin with Jessica with someone who can grapple her. That's mainly how she loses fights. But I do think Jourdain Yan's straight shots and footwork may be enough to get a decision win here. Jessica always is going to put up a tough fight if the fight goes to decision, which I do see this fight more often than not getting into the last round. So for that reason, it's going to be a kind of tough for Yan backers because she is going to have to come through some scary spots. But overall, I don't think the line is that bad on her. I mean, I haven't fully decided. I want to do more tape. But yeah, that's where I'm leaning at the moment. And the line's moving a little bit more. So if you do want to bet Jourdain Yan, I would say probably just relax a little bit. More people are betting Jessica Andrade. Everybody loves Andrade because she was former champion and she just hits like a truck. So I do think there's going to be more money coming in on Andrade. So I would just wait and see the line you can get on Yan. Don't be greedy. Well, not don't be greedy, but be patient. MMA betting is a game of patience. So yeah, I'll take Jourdain Yan straight up right now. The next fight I'll speak about is Belal Muhammad versus Gilbert Burns. Guys, I don't have a good read on this fight. I'm going to be completely honest. This is a fight I do not know really what to say. I think Belal Muhammad is a great fighter, but he's obviously fighting his toughest test of his entire career here. Maybe you could say that Jeff Neal is, on the same level as Gilbert Burns in terms of tough tests, and that may be true. And Stephen Thompson's good, but I mean, we both saw what he did to Stephen Thompson. If you can grapple efficiently, you will dominate Stephen Thompson. Both of these guys completely dominated him. Belal Muhammad even more so. I thought he was going to finish him. Didn't. But I say that to say this. It's a tough fight because Belal Muhammad is never seen anyone like Gilbert Burns. So what Belal Muhammad likes to do is take his opponent down and grind him out. I know he didn't do that in his Sean Brady fight, boxed him up on the feet, but he does like to do that. If he does that against Gilbert Burns, he's going to put himself inside Gilbert Burns' guard. And it's not a nice guard to be in, right? It's a dangerous guard to be in. And I do feel like Gilbert Burns can sweep, reverse, and or submit Gilbert Burns from his back. So I'm not sure if Bilal is going to consistently pursue takedowns here. Now, when the fight gets into round 3, 4, 5, is Bilal going to be pursuing takedowns a lot more? I do think that's possible because at that point, are you really going to get a guard sub off your back? I mean, it's possible. Are you really going to hit sweeps? You're going to be a lot more tired. And I do think Burns gasses out. I don't think Burns has great cardio. I know it's been a little bit... I don't know. I think he's disguised it well in certain fights, but I don't think it's great. I do think Bilal Muhammad has the better gas tank here. And, someone's mentioning the quick turnaround for Burns. Does it affect him? Yeah, probably. I mean, it's hard to say though, man, because like a lot of these fighters, they come back, a month or two later. And it's been happening a lot recently. I don't really know why, but it's been happening quite a lot. Even like fighters are only taking 2-3 months breaks, whereas they usually take 4, 5, 6 months. But I do feel like, but what I was going to say is it's hard to judge, whether it's going to... Look, it was quite a dominant win from Gilbert Burns, but he took some licks and he did go all 3 rounds. I don't think he hasn't had the ample time to train for this fight. Let's say that, right? He peaked about a month ago, right? Last pay-per-view, whenever it was. And I don't think he's going to be able to peak again. On the other hand, Bilal Muhammad has been training recently through Ramadan, right? He's a Muslim. It was Ramadan recently. And he's been training through Ramadan. So I know he's done that before. And I think he's fought through Ramadan before, I think. Or at least fought right after. But I'm sure he wasn't fighting at top efficiency from, for what he usually trains at. So there's a lot of unknowns in this fight, guys. I do think it's going to be more of a striking battle. I don't think either guy is going to have too much grappling success, at least not in rounds 1, 2, and half of round 3. I think second half of the fight, obviously people get tired, things can happen. But I think early it's going to be maybe like a slower pace contest where both fighters are trying to box. And I will say that Gilbert Burns probably has the sharper and faster and more powerful boxing. But technically, I'd say actually Bilal's better. So again, just like unknowns, they both had advantages and disadvantages. I'm going to take Bilal for this fight because I feel like he might be a bit fresher. And I also feel like he may be a little bit more hungry. Hunger does matter in MMA. Don't worry what people tell you. They deny it. He does. It does. And I think he is maybe a little bit more hungrier. And also, this is a fight in which I think Bilal has the cardio upside. So if he does, I do think that he's probably going to be able to get takedowns in this fight. Because later on, because he gets tired. Because Gilbert Burns will get tired earlier. So I think Bilal is going to start to have his way a little bit more. So yeah. The next fight we have is Aljamain Sterling versus Henry Cejudo. And Sean is saying, is this 3 or 5 round fight? Yeah, it's a 5 round fight, like Robert says. Aljamain Sterling and Henry Cejudo. I'm going to do a quick breakdown here because I've only got 2 minutes and I want to finish this before an hour, just to say I did it for my OCD brain. So I did a 25-minute breakdown for this fight. Earlier today, I'm dropping 2 content pieces today on you guys. Who does that? Man of the people. So I broke this fight down already. And I'm not going to go too in depth, but I am picking Henry Cejudo to win here. But there's so many unknowns that it's just impossible to bet almost because, impossible to bet a money line almost just because of the unknowns. But I'm picking Henry Cejudo. I think he's a great fighter. I think Aljo gasses in 5-round fights that he has resistance. And I do think Henry's going to put up resistance. So round 3, 4, and 5 can be hairy. And I may even sprinkle Henry late props. We'll see how it goes. And that's it, guys. No more. Full card breakdown done. We did get over 50 likes, so I am going to give a parlay out here. I'm going to be quick. I'm not even going to check it, but someone put it on. So I'm going to go. And if you haven't signed up to my website yet, lucrativemmabetting.com, the price is absolute peanuts for what the service offers. It should be a lot more expensive, but it's not. So jump in while it's hot before it does get more expensive. But yeah, the parlay I'm going to give you is Chaos Williams via KO, parlayed with Rafael Estevem, parlayed with Drew Dober, KO, Jourdain Yan moneyline. And last but not least, Daniel Santos inside the distance. Actually, leave that one out if you want. So that's it, guys. 10 seconds before I sign out. Shout out to everybody. I appreciate every single one of you. I will see you in the next video. And there'll be one out shortly.